Welcome back to Inside City Hall. Although crime has fallen to near record low levels around the city, violence remains a problem in the city's public housing complexes where more than 400,000 New Yorkers live. In response, the Housing Authority has been installing more security cameras, launching a public safety advisory committee, and putting in new lighting systems at the Polo Grounds towers in Harlem and other developments. Here to talk more about these initiatives, we've got Gerald Nelson, the Vice President for Public Safety at the Housing Authority. Welcome back to the program. Have not seen you here since you were a three-star chief running Brooklyn North.
Thank you, Errol. It's been some time, but it's good to be back.
Okay, so now you're dealing with public safety from a slightly different angle. And let me start with the new thing. You've got a sort of a new committee that is this a new philosophy, or is this sort of a new grouping of existing resources?
It's a new committee that we started, and we're going to have participants from the NYPD, of course, NYCHA's residents, CCOP, that's the Citywide Council of Presidents, and NYCHA, of course. We're also going to make sure that we include youth. Those under NYCHA has 41% of its population are under the age of 24.
Wow.
So it's good to have them a part of this committee to speak about issues and set up different committees. We also have partners. All the DA's offices joined on board. Ken Thompson was the first to express interest. And just last week I was at a old Comstat meeting. I went back. This time I was just a viewer, and there was Donovan, from the Staten Island, and he expressed interest. So we have a lot of partners, and we feel that we can do some real great things within NYCHA.
Okay, so I understand structurally. I understand this, having all of the right stakeholders in the room together, so to speak. What happens in that room? I mean, what kind of things might you try?
We're going to have three standing committees, but we'll have more committees: youth engagement, crime and quality of life, emergency preparedness. All these different topics that affect NYCHA in a certain way. We'll be speaking with these different committees, coming out with discussions, bringing all the expertise to the table. So this way, maybe we can affect some policy change and just make NYCHA a safer place to live.
And what's that like for you personally? I mean, you know, in the past, if we were talking about just a year ago, you'd round up some guys and you'd sort of make up a tactical plan, go in the project, kick some butt, and get the bad guys.
Well, I hate to say it that way, yes, but it's a different format for me, but it's a format that I enjoy doing. And we have a collaboration between the NYPD, NYCHA and its staff, and that means, of course, management and also the workers, and which is key, the residents. The residents have to take part in all this to make NYCHA and their developments a safer place to live. And
you're looking for volunteers.
We're looking for volunteers for youth, youth, because like I said, with that large percentage of youth living within NYCHA's developments, we're looking to make sure that we have some representatives from the youth on this particular advisory committee.
I was looking at the information on cameras. You've got cameras in 31 additional developments, so now you've got a total of nearly 1,000 cameras in 219 out of 328 developments. What happens on the other side of those cameras? What are those cameras used for?
If you look at least 15 of the developments throughout the city are what they call Viper bases. And that's when the NYPD has 24-hour coverage when they're looking at those cameras. Detect crime, solve crime, a deterrent. And then the rest of the portfolios have some form of closed-circuit TV, which we can look at any given time. You know, the wave of the future is closed-circuit TV. Everywhere you go, you're being watched. Well, it's a positive way to try and keep our residents safe.
Does it affect the behavior of people who are, I don't know, sort of borderline, maybe looking for crimes of opportunity?
Unfortunately, you have an element throughout the city that even with cameras there, they may still participate in violent acts of violent crime or just misbehavior. That's why the cameras work out so well. You would think somebody would know better than to commit that crime because they're going to get caught. That's why it works so well when we rewind the tapes, look back, and we solve this. But it's an excellent tool for law enforcement and keeping which is all about, our communities safe.
So now, so much of the time when people talk about public safety in public housing and places where there has been a problem in the past, they point to the availability of guns. They talk about stresses and disorganized family life that sort of leads to it. They talk about substandard education, so that kids aren't really sort of being raised properly to know how to resolve things nonviolently and so forth. Is that sort of the level of conversation that goes on within NYCHA, or are you just trying to sort of make sure the nuts and bolts are done?
All those things you mentioned and more are discussed. If you look at the mayor's action plan on neighborhood safety within NYCHA, he's put something together that started in 2014, where you have multifaceted city agencies coming together. As we realize, it's not just about locking up people and putting people away. There are different things that must be done, different programs, different resources that must be utilized throughout the city to make these communities a safe environment and to solve those problems.
And to the extent that there's been a new philosophy when it comes to stop, question, frisk, has it impaired the ability, do you think, of the NYPD to sort of partner with you and help stop some of the incidents before they actually happen?
No. The change in stop and frisk, if you look at it, the numbers that we used to generate a decade ago compared to what we're generating now, I keep saying we as though I'm still with the NYPD, what the NYPD is generating now, but crime is cut drastically, and crime has still gone down. Under Commissioner Bratton, and I'm going to speak specifically for the Housing Bureau, Chief Secreto, the chief of the Housing Bureau, less 250s, still crime is going down because the work is more concentrated, more pinpoint. So the reduction in, I feel, the reduction in 250s, we're still making a big dent in the crime. Okay,
very good. We're going to leave it there for now. We encourage people to consider getting involved in these new committees as they get up and running. You can find out more about it, I assume, at the NYCHA website?
Yes.
Okay. We're going to take a short break now. Coming up, I'll bring you a preview of tomorrow night's show. Stay with us.